Evening, everyone. We're back again. No punches pulled last night. We've got Liam up top, Jay bottom. We've reversed the roles from last night. We've got 3 quick, short prediction shows. The boys are going to give their picks to the massive Ring Magazine rematch this weekend. Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. We're starting at the top and we're going downwards. Chris Eubank Jr. winning a UD back in April now. One of the fights of the year, it has to be said. We spoke about the nostalgia, the 3 of us last night. The perfect storm, I called it. I know you boys were kind of the same. Oh, we've lost Liam, have we? You boys are kind of feeling the same. This time we're saying the hype hasn't quite been there, but look, we'll find it, won't we, during fight week? I'm sure tomorrow's presser will be incredibly interesting. But usual format, boys, then for these shows, I'll throw it to both of you for your outsets, and then let's get straight into who we think is going to win the big one on Saturday night.
Look, I think we summed it up last night, and it's a feeling across sort of what everyone's saying. This isn't a rematch that's needed. There wasn't any controversy from the first fight. The talk going into this rematch also isn't really there. There's not a bigger buzz as there was for the first fight. Obviously, it was 2 years in the making, first time round. There was the egg slap from the first press conference. There was the will Eubank Senior be there or not narrative to it. That's all missing this time round. Look, neither fighter should be at 160. Conor Benn is at 154 at an absolute push. And Eubank Jr., yes, he's been doing it for his last 5 fights, but he should be at 168. If there wasn't any money on the line, I mean, the lion's share of it, £18 million purse by all accounts, has been split 60-40 in Junior's favour.
Yeah.
Then he wouldn't be here, would he? He'd be at 168, possibly chasing titles. So money talks, and that's why we're getting this fight. Come Saturday night, by the time we get to this main event, with the undercard not being of the greatest quality, it could reflect in that stadium. We know it's not selling out. We know there's competitions and all sorts going around to shift tickets. I hope we get a fight like we did first time rounds, but if we're being honest, it kind of all feels a bit like after the Lord Mayor's show, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, it's called unfinished business. For me, that business was finished 30 years ago, and definitely was finished in the last fight. I've watched it back. It's not as close as I thought it was on the night. Conor Benn had 3 or 4 good rounds mid-fight, but Eubank started off fast and built up a lead. Conor Benn sort of had good rounds intermittently through the middle. That was his best part of the fight. And then towards the end of the fight, it was just a scrap, but Eubank was winning and getting the better of the exchanges for me. I'm underwhelmed by the rematch, and I think the press seems to reflect that. I've just listened to 2 goofballs that probably, one of them admitted he'd never been to a boxing match in his life, doing a boxing competition to win tickets and $5,000 and a hotel. They're putting up $5,000 spending money for a boxing competition. They've never done that before. They are desperate for people. They've got Simon, Smigan and Spencer doing additional shows.
With Eubank
bringing
Senior
people in to try.
No way Eubank Senior is doing that not paid.
Absolutely,
they're paying him for that.
Absolutely not.
Zero. Like turning up to the first fight.
And I've noticed this, right? I work with non-boxing people, really. They like the big fights, and not one person's mentioned this fight in my office at all. No one's mentioned it. The build-up to the last one, albeit I was in a different office, but same kind of scenario. They will.
Is it going to be a late bloomer, Jay?
I don't think so. I don't think it's there. Yeah. It's not there. We've seen this play out, right? We've seen it play out. I think Chris Eubank Jr. is better prepared. He's had a better camp. He's done his whole camp with Bomac. He had Jonathan Banks and bits and bats of Bomac, and it was just mixed up last time. Yes, he's got the rehydration clause. I don't think that's an issue. He easily made that. He came in under that last time. I think the spite and needle that they had in the first fight helps Conor Benn. The fact he hasn't got that and psychologically knows that he was bested by Chris Eubank Jr., I just think it's going to play out very similar to the first fight. I just think this time Conor Benn is going to be chasing the stoppage that much. He's going to walk onto a right hand. I think he's going to leave himself wide open. His boxing's not that great.
Yeah, I agree. Eubank is not known to be a boxer, but he's a better boxer than Conor Benn. I think it's interesting in rematches. Obviously the first fight was a barn burner. Now, the three of us have followed the sport for donkey's years now. We know what it can be like in rematches. They've seen each other for 12 rounds, especially on the Eubank side. I think he kind of got dragged in, and he's the heart of a lion. It's one thing you can never question about Chris Eubank Jr., similar to his father, obviously. He's got a set of stones on him and he can go into it. So he kind of fought that fight, which brought Ben into it, I think, a little bit in the last fight. Yeah. But we know rematches, they've seen each other. Is it going to be a bit stale? I don't think, probably not in this fight, but look, you just never know. So I think that's something to consider, especially from the Eubank side, because he's a better boxer. Hi, Hawkan. Thanks for joining us, mate. Go on then, boys. I guess we'll get into with a few more to do. So I guess we'll get into where are you going? Is it repeat or revenge?
Repeat. It's repeat for me. I had a little wobble midweek. I just thought I just got a funny feeling that Ben was going to do it, and then I've revisited that. I've watched the fight again. And I'm going Chris Eubank Jr. by 10th round TKO stoppage.
Liam?
No, sorry, mate. It's a difficult one, isn't it? You can't see this fight going any other way, and I think Conor Benn's chance in the first fight was Eubank Jr. underestimating him, was the element of surprise of him being better than Eubank Jr. gave him credit for up in weight. That narrative and that storyline, you would say, is gone now going into the rematch. Eubank Jr.'s last rematch on the Bomac was the Liam Smith fight. I know, Jay, not trying to upset you, mate, but that was one of his best performances in recent years, wasn't it? The way he went into that rematch against Liam Smith was the best we've seen Eubank possibly since the early days of his career. So if that pattern continues, I could see another stoppage similar to Jay. Conor Benn will be chasing a stoppage, especially if Eubank builds up a lead on the cards. And I can see that coming down the stretch. 10-11, Eubank Jr. via Conor Benn's corner pulling him out. I think Tony Sims will say no more and try and save the fighter from moving back down.
Just before you met your prediction, Sam, and you're just following on from what Liam said, I think there's more pressure on Conor Benn. A defeat for Chris Eubank Jr. at 36, tail end of his career, is not as damaging as what it is for Conor Benn. Conor Benn's already talking about dropping down to 147 and challenging for world titles. He's got half an eye on. I know he's fully focused. He's a professional, consummate professional. But for him to get another defeat, we saw how heavy he took the last defeat. Took him an hour and 15 minutes to get out of the fucking ring, for God's sake. Leant over the ropes, hugging his dad, crying. I think the fact that the pressure's heaped on him will make him chase the fight as it goes further on. And I think that feeds into the narrative that me and Liam have just expressed there, that he'll be chasing the fight and get clipped.
It's pretty rare that the three of us go down the same path on one fight. But look, the murmurs, and I've watched many interviews this week. I watched one with Eubank's manager earlier, and amongst other people around the Eubank team, basically saying he took Ben not lightly, because Eubank Jr. is a consummate professional. He always is in shape and he trains hard, but maybe this time he's just given that extra 10%. Bomac, I've seen some of the videos. Bomac, say what you want about him, he definitely is one of the best about right now. Chris Eubank Jr. looks in absolutely tremendous shape. I don't think he's gonna play about with the weight. The rumor is, again, these are rumors, obviously we're not connected to the camp, but he's done the weight better this time. All of these things, I thought this before anyway, but I'm on exactly the same page as you boys. I know, Jay, you said 10, Liam, you said 10-11. I'm in complete agreement. It's the last couple of rounds of the fight. I think Chris Eubank Jr. will stop Conor Benn this time about. I think he'll be ahead on the cards by that point. Look, Ben's going to be dangerous early, maybe similar to what he was in the first fight. He's very explosive, but he is small. And Eubank, he's got a tremendous chin. I know Liam Smith stopped him on that. But
it's one of them things that he got caught.
It's a bit of a freak stoppage almost. Obviously, he was hurt and stuff, but I don't know if Conor can stop Chris Eubank Jr. at 160 pounds unless he's completely dead at the weight. But he seemed okay and he took the shots okay in April. So I'm absolutely with you, boys. Hawkan's got Eubank winning via a split decision.
I could see that.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We're going to do the Cattrall fight in 2 minutes on a new stream.
Right, okay. That yawn wasn't scripted, but answered your question, young man. That's how I feel about this match. I swear that wasn't on purpose.
That's the best timing you've ever had, mate. That's fantastic.
We've got Darren Aston, Mr. Sir Chat a lot of boxing in the building. Hope you're well, Darren. Thanks for joining us. He's got Ben winning by late TKO. So we're all Eubank over here. Let us know in the comments below.